Hi, I'm pro saxophonist Jamie Anderson, and you're watching Get Your Sax Together, the home of online saxophone lessons. Last week we had that absolutely unbelievable collaboration between 5 of your favourite sax YouTube educators and myself. So this week I'm going to take you behind the scenes and show you exactly how we put it together and how you could put a similar thing together if you wanted to. So just before I show you exactly how we did this, remember, you can get the PDF, parts and score for that amazing Caravan performance. You can use the link which is in the description. And if you just want to get better at sax and know exactly what to practice and how to improve across the board, check out my Saxophone Success Masterclass, the link of which you can see there, and the link is also in the description. Okay, let's jump behind the scenes and see exactly how this groundbreaking Caravan collaboration was put together. Obviously, this was a multi-stage process, so I'm going to take you through each stage and show you exactly how it was done. So the first step was to choose the song, and I wanted to use one of Jay's backing tracks from Better Tracks. So I went with Caravan, and I had to obviously do the chart. I had to do the arrangement. Now, I didn't want to just stick to the format of the backing track because it's too short for a start. There are lots of different soloists, and I wanted to create some variety in the settings for each soloist. So I ended up really getting the scissors out and butchering up the backing tracks to fit my arrangement. So I did the arrangement I wanted, and then I cut up the backing track stems from Better Tracks to make it all fit my chart. So what you can see on screen is the actual score that I used. Obviously, I just started at the beginning. Now, I'm going to do a separate video on how I did the arrangement for Caravan, which is going to be much more technical. But here's the arrangement, and you can see the people coming in at the start, the trills building up, and Jay starts off with the head there, and so on and so forth through the whole arrangement. Now, once you finished the score, and I was happy with it, I went in and tidied up all the individual parts. So I did that for all the different parts. That was Wally's part, there's Dave's part, there is Scott's part, there's Jay's part, which is zoomed in a bit too much. There is Nigel's part, and finally there's my part on the baritone. Now remember, you can get a copy of the full score and all the parts by using the link in the description. So that was the chart. Let's now move on to step 2. And step 2 was to build the backing track. So step 1 was doing the arrangement, and step 2 was building the backing track. So as I built out the arrangement, I built out the backing track at the same time. So here you can see my Logic screen, Logic Audio, which is what I use for my audio stuff. And you can see all the chopped up little bits of audio to make the arrangement work. I also put in this this code at the top, this structure, so I can see exactly where I am, because it's a really long piece. So, for example, here's the backing track for the intro. So, as you can see, I kind of really chopped it up because I got the stems off Jay, the separate parts off Jay. And there's also Caravan in 2 different keys, of course. So I had backing tracks in 2 different keys. So when it comes to the key change, I just used the other backing track. So it changes key here. For Dave's solo was in the new key. So that's what I did. I built out the whole backing track, chopped it all up. So that was quite a big effort in itself. Let's now move on to the third part of the process, which was recording the guide sax parts. So now we're on to part 3, and I had to send out something for everybody to play along to. I didn't just want to send them the backing track and a click track and the chart, because everybody would be doing it at different times and the whole phrasing would sound different when we put it all together. So sax players play best when they've got a section to play with. So I had to create every single part myself. So here's the soli with everything recorded by me. And this is what the guys played along to, obviously muting their own part that they were about to record. And of course, at the end of all that, there's just blank rhythm section space for the soloists to put their solo in. Okay, briefly, let's talk about the fourth part of this process, which was sending all the stuff out to the people. Now, I've had a few comments saying, oh, you should have got Nathan from Saxologic, and I did, and he even started recording it, but he had a problem with his throat and he couldn't finish recording, unfortunately. Also, Sir Valor, we chatted about doing the project, but it didn't pan out in the end, so hopefully we'll get them the next time. Anyway, I had to be very specific about what I sent out. So I sent out the information about the formats, you know, the frame rate, the all the stuff about the audio. I sent information, I sent the chart, their own music, and there's no repeats or anything in the chart, so all the bar numbers correspond exactly to the bar numbers from the audio to make things a lot easier. And of course, I sent out the tracks to play along to, which were all my separate parts and the rhythm section and a click track. And then when they recorded their own part, obviously, they just muted the part which they needed to replace. So that's what I sent out. Luckily, everybody in the project is a complete pro. And everything came back absolutely pristine, looking brilliant, sounding brilliant, making my job super easy. So thanks very much for that, you guys. So once I got everybody else's parts back, then of course I had to record my part and film my part. So because I was doing a soprano solo, because nobody else had a soprano solo, I thought it would be nice, and I love playing soprano anyway. I had to record the baritone first, and then I had to record the soprano. So I had to do them as two separate takes, because there's a bit of baritone behind the soprano solo, and the changeover would have been too fast. So I recorded all my baritone parts and started regretting how hard I'd made it. And then I overdubbed my soprano solo. So having done that, which is exactly what everybody else did, I then had to put all the stuff together. So that is part 6. So part 6, of course, was putting the whole thing together. I had to put all the audio together first and mix the audio. And then I had to put all the videos together, make sure they're all in sync, and do the video editing. So we'll come back to the video editing because that's the next part. But part 6 is editing the audio and getting a great mix. So what you can see on screen is the finished parts from all of us. I've got Wally up the top, soprano in blue. I've got the 2 altos, 2 tenors, my baritone part, and then the rhythm section parts are pink. So if I play this for you, and then you can see how everybody sounds. So there's Wally, there's Dave, there's Scott, there's Jay, there's Nigel, there's me. The finished article. So you all know they're recording anyway, so I won't play anymore, but it's interesting when you solo each person's part. For example, let's get to the, the head, where we do the big harmonization, and you'll hear all the individual parts. It's quite interesting. So this is what Wally plays. Okay, this is what Dave plays. This is what Scott plays. This is what Jay plays. This is what Nigel plays. And this is what I play. Interesting, isn't it, to hear all the individual parts, and then when you put them together, of course. I'm going to talk more about that in the arranging video. So that's what I did. I put all the audio parts together and then obviously mixed it and balanced it, gave it a bit of reverb, and just made the whole thing sound as wicked as I could. Then I took that audio track over to Final Cut to edit the video, which is part 7. Okay, so I had the final mix, and then I had everybody's videos. So I made sure that all the videos were in sync. I just put a big long strip of them all on top of each other. And luckily I found this cool bit of software, which puts all the different people in different segments of the screen. So that was one massive screen time saver. So then it was just a question of going through the whole video and seeing who plays what, and then putting them in the right boxes. So you remember from the start, people come in one at a time. And so what I did, I just cut it all up, and then I muted out the people who weren't playing at the time, and then moved the boxes around strategically to kind of group people with what they were playing. So that was the final edit, and then of course I had to do my, the introduction for the video, and I had to do the actual spoken introduction to the video, and then finalize the whole thing, upload it to YouTube. Boom! Bob is your uncle. That is how I completed the whole project. So thanks very much for all the people who have watched last week's collaboration video. Thank you for all the likes, all the comments. Maybe one day I'll be able to reply to all the comments, but there's so many, I'm struggling. I really appreciate it, and all the guys really appreciate it as well. So remember to support them. All their details are in the description for that video. And of course, the link for the video itself is in this description. Until next week, where I'll be talking more about the arrangement and how I worked out all those crazy harmonies and stuff. I hope you have a great week. Remember, you can buy me a coffee using the link there or the link in the description. And if you want to do your own collaboration video, just go for it. In this day and age, it is completely possible. In fact, you could even record. Somebody asked me if they could record all the parts for this one, which that'll be interesting. Anyway, until next week, make sure you practice hard, practice smart, and more than anything else, always enjoy your music, just like we did on this project. See you next week. Bye. Is that even recording? Is that even recording? Fingers crossed.